Right, here's what's coming up on the news today. We are going to be talking about Harry Kane. We are going to be talking about Erik, Saudi Arabia, and we're going to be talking about Hojlund, and we are not going to talk about Joe's Piles. Right, I'm on the news, and I'm here in San Diego. You might have heard of it. It's on the west coast, right next to Mexico. That's where we are at the moment. We've got cactuses. It's real. There's no green screen involved here. This is how it goes. Now, if you're tuning in going, Steve, give me the news. What is going on? Well, actually, there might be something going on. If you think I'm going to fill 8 minutes of what's going on there and not just take it off into the woods and talk about something mental, you're wrong. But we're going to start it with the news. So pin them back, strap in, strap on, do whatever you need to do. We're going to be talking about Harry Kane. So let me give you the lowdown what's going on with Harry Kane. The big cheese at Tottenham Hotspur, and I'm not talking about Daniel Levy. He's a large cheese, but there are bigger cheeses at Tottenham than Daniel Levy. And the big cheese has decided that Harry Kane needs to get sold this here summer because they're not going to allow him to go for free next year. Makes smart business sense if you're asking me, because that whole walking away for nothing shy is not good for business. Especially when you've got an asset that's realistically worth anywhere between 70 and 100 million like Harry Kane is. Now then, Bayern Munich can't quite agree a deal, and I feel like everyone has just had a big old briefing from Manchester United and possibly other places as well. So I'm going to get my phone out and I'm going to give you blow by blow so I don't get any of it wrong. So what's being said is ESPN are talking about it. There is multiple other places as well, The Guardian, The Telegraph, as well as ESPN. United could look to revive their interest in Harry Kane after being informed that the chairman, Daniel Levy, has been told by the owner, Joe Lewis, that he cannot be allowed to run his contract down and leave for nothing next year. ESPN say, despite the difficulties of doing a deal with Tottenham, who would rather Kane move abroad if he does leave, here's the really interesting part, he is Erik Ten Hag's first choice. And I think that might change something. Now, from a Manchester United point of view, this is really interesting, because Manchester United, if they're sensible, put loads of information out now over the next few days, and they say, yes, Harry Kane, if he's going, needs to come and sign for Manchester United, because what's the response of that? What? Hojlund? Ah, yeah, we like him, but he was always going to play second fiddle to Harry Kane. See? Smart business techers. Rather than just banging fucking billboards up all around Manchester saying Hojlund is our number one choice and we don't want anyone else ever, forever, amen, right? You got to play the game. And that sometimes means cooling your interest in this one, fluffing up some nonsense interest in this one, to maybe get this one over the line in a sensible price. Hojlund. So what's going on with Hojlund? So Romano has said Manchester United remain focused on Rasmus Hojlund as the new striker at this stage, despite the recent stories about Harry Kane. Opening bid for Hojlund coming soon after personal terms have been agreed. And obviously Romano has commented previously on what's going on with Hojlund, saying that United are now set to submit a first official big bid for Hojlund next week. PSG are speaking to the player side. Now, I don't think he's the sort of signing that PSG would make. I think he needs to be a little bit more sparkly before PSG would take an interest, but that's interesting. United have agreed personal terms, and the player is prioritising United. Rolling it back to Harry Kane then, I believe United have got a genuine decision to make here. You could get Harry Kane, and I think you could get him. Now, all this bravado about Spurs won't sell to a Premier League rival, yeah, you will. You've done it for years. So why would that change now? Realistically, why would that change right now? Harry Kane might be a massive jewel and a club legend that you've not really sold lots of them in the past, admittedly. However, money talks, and if you've decided that you're selling him this summer, then you're selling him. Now, with the news that he remains Erik Ten Hag's first choice, yeah, I get that. I think Rasmus Hojlund suits a very press-heavy sort of side. I think Rasmus Hojlund is the archetype of a player that could go on and really build a sensational career at United. But the fact is he's unproven. And the fact is, if you put Harry Kane into this team, that could turn United from let's see how it goes to let's see how it fucking goes. And I think there's a difference in that. I think there's a real difference in that. I think Harry Kane could score 27, 28 goals at Manchester United. And someone that's got the ability to score that many goals could be the difference between Manchester United having a good season and a very, very good season. At this stage, I think it'd be too early to get giddy. I actually think that it was very close, and probably even closer to him leaving when he was potentially going to Manchester City. That felt closer than the stage that we're at now. Even with it coming out that they want to sell him this summer, it still feels closer. And the weird thing for me is, I think Joe Martin nailed this the other day. Bayern Munich never really talk about players. What happens is Bayern Munich announce that they've signed players. So Bayern Munich publicly chatting shit about Harry Kane might be because they haven't quite secured him as strong as they secure some other transfers. And I find that very interesting. I think he's got a point, because I think he's right. I don't generally see Bayern Munich talking about other teams' players. So, will Manchester United sign Harry Kane? Without getting too transfer review on this, I think that at the moment it looks unlikely, but I think it's something that could develop, because there's more moving parts to this. People think that transfers are, Erik Ten Hag just like shouts up to the transfer ferry and goes, sign me, blah, 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 and then it is delivered. Forgetting what the opposition club want to do, forgetting what the actual player wants to do, forgetting that there's relationships and agencies and all sorts of other things that are involved. Do I think United would take Harry Kane? Yes. And I think if it was somewhere in the 70, 75 million range, because of that year left on his contract, they would probably do it. But can that be done? Can you test Spurs' resolve with that size of a bid? Maybe more so now than you could at the start of the window, now that the owner has come out and probably knocked 10, 15 million off it, because now you know they're desperate to sell. Now you know that they will eventually agree to whatever price you put in front of them. So I think United needs to be brave, and I think United to just go and bang 60 million in cash, use 20s, elastic bands the lot, on a table, take a photo of it and WhatsApp it to Spurs, and just be like, what do you reckon? Come and feel the fibre of the fabric and see where it takes you. I'm going to say no, aren't they? Diallo's injury is not as bad as first feared. Apparently he says, feared the worst, nothing serious, I'll be back soon. Erik Bailly, this is in the Mirror. Apparently Cristiano Ronaldo is raiding Manchester United. Is he? Or is Erik Bailly an available player that could go to Al Nassr? So Cristiano Ronaldo has apparently teamed up with his former teammate Alex Telles at Al Nassr, and he wants another of Erik Ten Hag's outcasts to join him, namely Erik Bailly. So he's been in dialogue ahead of a potentially £20 million move. Now, honestly, I don't know where the hell these prices are coming from. How's there Alex Telles 4 and the perma-injured Erik Bailly 20? Anyone? I don't. Also, this don't feel right to me. I don't do the news. It's not my game. I've got to do the news. I'm the guy that I like to be the bullshit bingo. You might have seen it. I like to say, look, Amazon vans. That's my gig. That's what I do, right? And 0 out of 10, right? No, I just got to read the news out, like fucking Jay and Joe. Do you know what I mean?